noticed how some people almost brag about being a perfectionist as though it's a great quality and something to be respected, when in fact, perfectionism can actually be very toxic to our mental health. Studies show that a true perfectionist isn't really trying to be perfect. They're trying to avoid not being good enough. And what we're going to dive into in today's training is how perfectionism can stunt your business growth, how it can be the worst possible thing for your productivity, and how it's linked to procrastination. And the good news is what you can do about it.
Welcome to today's Marketing Mindset and Moolah Show. I'm Tristan. This is my beautiful lady, Sabrina. We are partners in all things. And we created this show because we've been on a journey for the last decades of doing what we might call the overlap. Some people call it the overlap, from having a brick and mortar business to going online, doing both, and now really 100% online. We've learned a thing or two about that overlap, and we're really here to help the teachers, the trainers, the coaches, the uplifters to handle that bridge. How do I get there? How do I grow and launch my business? Do it from a place of love and service. And these are our marketing tips and our mindset hacks. So today we've got a really powerful mindset hack for you. Let's jump into this conversation around perfectionism and how it's linked to procrastination. I'm going to raise my hand immediately.
Tristan, I shall call on him.
Thank you. I'm raising my hand as guilty as charged for being a perfectionist at different times in my life. In fact, we both have had this. We're both guilty. We've been working on this. It's a mindset thing more than anything, because there's this self-criticism and this self-judgment. I bet you've probably felt it in your own journey where you want it to be perfect, right? Because why? Well, so often for me, I was concerned about being judged or ridiculed for it not being good enough. And then there's this internal part that's saying, it's not quite ready. It's not quite ready. And it's self-doubt, self-judgment, self-doubt. And those things can really shut you down.
And when you're feeling that, there's a tendency to maybe not get started at all. Just to keep putting it off. Like, I'm so overwhelmed. There's so much to do. Well, I'm not ready to get started because I don't have everything laid out. So I'm just going to procrastinate. And then it just spins and spins. I definitely have been a perfectionist linked to procrastination in control, thinking that I could, through the power of my mind, control everything and create or offer these programs that were perfect. Now, when I'm talking about being perfect, I'm talking about as a business. So what would that be? The perfect picture, the perfect Facebook post, the perfect emoji that goes with it, the perfect font, the perfect spacing, the perfect
You're starting to sound like Chris Rock today.
The perfect price. Like, you can really overanalyze. And that's where this beautiful line comes in, because when you are letting go of that and you're more in flow, so that you are not procrastinating out of that fear of failure, but you're taking steps, is the feedback that you get along the way. Right. Because your idea, I'll say my idea of what's perfect before I'm moving into it is going to be very different than the possibilities that open up as I start to take action.
So we know this is a conversation that we all need to be having. And I think sometimes we just need that extra nudge or that extra clarity. So being in business, launching programs, releasing new promotions over the years, getting it out to market, so to speak, we had to start dealing with our own head trash around caring what other people think. That's been the biggest one for me. You know, you hear a lot of conversation about the imposter syndrome. Well, that ties in as well, right? Like, well, who am I? I'm not quite ready enough. I need another certification to hang on the wall, and then I'll feel confident enough. And we all know what that's like as we go chasing and chasing and chasing this idea of being ready. We're getting ready and we're getting ready and we're getting ready, and then it's too late, right? Like the thing, I used to use this term. I don't know if it's the best term, but it's what I call the stillborn. Like, there's something inside me that needs to come out, and my mind is blocking it from happening, and it's suffocated inside of me. And then it just never gets to see the light of day. And that is massive disservice because of our own head trash, thinking, oh, well, when I finally am acknowledged, when I'm finally dawned, with like the decree, you may go forth and teach. You are, the one. Like, it's just not going to happen.
Never.
You kind of have to dawn your own thing and just boom.
Because from the mindset of being a perfectionist, it will never be good enough and it will never be perfect. So when you do attain a win, you forget to stop and acknowledge it, because all you see and all you look at is what could be better, what was wrong with it. I really had that when I had a dance career, and then when I started coaching other people, I started treating them the way I treated myself, which was, let me look for everything wrong. And if you do it from a place of, so many things are really positive, I'm going to just shift those things that aren't quite right. That's very different from the mindset that I had at the time, where it focuses in on what's wrong. And then there's this thing, I'm going to use like anorexia. So I've shared before, when I was probably 19 years old, that's something that I struggled with. And it's absolutely a need to be perfect. I needed to have the perfect body for the ballet company. But like, whose idea of perfect? That's a whole conversation we could have. But then what happens, I wasn't starving myself for what I look like for me. It was for what other people would think of me.
That's the external judgment.
And it would be to be in control. But then you lose your ability to actually see the truth. When you're so focused on trying to be perfect, you can't see what's there. And they call that body dysmorphia. So I could look in the mirror. When I was a senior in high school, I could wear the pants I wore in the second grade, but as knickers. And I thought, man, I look good. Not to anybody else. I actually couldn't see the truth. And I think that happens with obsessive compulsive behaviors that are tied to perfectionism. And I've really done a lot of work to let that go and to allow flow to happen, to let it go and allow flow. So I actually really used my faith to let go of it, because I thought I had to do it all. And when through my faith, through my spiritual power, my spiritual connection, I can say, this is now, and then show me how it can be better, instead of me trying to control it.
I love that. And that is such I know you struggled deeply in your life around that, and then you saw that, influencing your decisions as a business owner. And so for you to really be able to release that is huge. And I know a lot of our audience deals with that in their own way. And so we really lovingly wanted to have this conversation with you because, well, we've known many of our students and our entrepreneurial friends who have been looping in this perfectionism, procrastination cycle. And so speaking to it from a place of, we get it, we also want to talk to you about how to get out of it, right? So first thing is just to be able to say, yeah, okay, I've been doing that. And to have the realization that it's never going to be perfect, ever, ever, ever. In fact, why don't we talk about Apple for a moment, right?
Yeah.
Like if Apple hadn't been into innovation and releasing, let's talk about the iPhone, if they hadn't been evolving, we'd still be using an iPhone 4.
Yep.
We're on 12 now.
But what if version 12 was their idea of perfection and there were no phones? There wasn't 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, the X,
1 and 2.
And then the X.
Yes.
Right? And then it skipped to 11, 12 and smaller and bigger and colored. With all of those renditions, they got feedback from the public. We don't like it that big. We don't like it that fat. We don't like that home screen. Yeah, we don't like that button. Right. So it that allowed for flow.
And innovation.
So is version 12 perfect?
Pretty damn good.
For now. But
I
bet they find a way to make it better. And I love that example because I've used that in myself so often. It's like, I can release this because it's version 1. And I already am giving myself permission to have version 2. And if you put the pressure on yourself that this is the version, it represents all that you have, and you shall be judged according to this project, you'll never do it.
Yeah, it's so true. Now, I just want to bring in the other side of the equation real quick, because if anyone was thinking I'm saying, well, just, fake it till you make it, not about that. You definitely want to work the craft. You want to have your skill, develop your tool, sharpen your blade, do the work, get the certifications and the education that you need. Mm-hmm. But then stop needling and tweak. Because if you're a course creator or a teacher that wants to launch that new workshop or start that coaching package or that digital course, Sabrina's exactly right.
Say that again.
Sabrina is 100% right. We say to ourselves, because we start that needling thing, and Sabrina says, it's version 1.0. And I'm like, you're right. Version 1.0 is going to be good enough because you already know that you're really into what you do.
Yep.
And if you have that perfectionistic trait, chances are you're already so far above many people who aren't willing to do the work. And I'm serious about that. There's some stuff out there and they're making the money and you're not, and their stuff isn't that good. But they were willing to just get it to market.
Yep.
So get it to market means it's good enough.
Yeah.
What do they say? Done is better than perfect, right? Done is better than perfect. Release it. Allow for criticism. It's okay. Mm-hmm. See it as constructive feedback. Those internal and external judgments are the ones that stop us. Yeah. Caring what other people think, worrying that we're going to be ridiculed, that's just, kindergarten stuff, right? And I'm not diminishing it. It's real. Nobody wants to be judged. We've all been judged and bullied and picked on. Well, be successful. That's the best revenge, right? And the other part is the self-doubt, the self-judgment. Well, that's just looping in stories that we have that we probably picked up when we were kids, maybe from a teacher or a parent. And the best way to combat those is just to do it, to launch the damn thing. Because 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, we just launched.
I was just going to say, I bet what you're going to say.
And I want to pass it to Sabrina. We just launched something that when we first launched it, it was very, very different than what it is now. And some people might even say, that was a perfect event.
Yeah.
It was really good. It was the best one we've ever done. Way better than the first.
It was more perfect.
It was more perfect, but it wouldn't have ever gotten as good as it got if we hadn't released it.
Because more things are shown. It's like creating a vacuum. When you have to have momentum, it's like a law of physics, right? Objects in motion tend to remain in motion. I was actually going to say we just created a new lead magnet. A lead magnet is a gift that you give someone in exchange for their contact information and to start a relationship that leads them on a journey of possibly becoming a paying client. So our idea was to release a free gift called Qigong for Beginners. And we spent a day setting up the studio, and then just the two of us, we spent a day filming it. It was mainly like 3 big chunks, or maybe it was 1 chunk, 9 chunks in 1 chunk. And as soon as it was done, like that day, we were all ready. We were looking, going, could have smiled more. Light could have been better. Could have talked more about benefits. Should we take tomorrow and redo the whole thing? And we didn't have time because it was released the next day. So it's like, let's just release it and then we can redo it. Well, then you go back and watch it in 24 hours and we're like, dang, this is good. This is really good because it got out of that mindset of nitpicking. And then we get all these thank yous and all these emails and it's beautiful. And what changed? The eyes of the beholder. The eyes of the beholder changed. I looked at it for what it was, a lead magnet, a free gift that we gave to 10,000 people who love it. Could we have smiled more? Yeah.
We, so meaning what? Me.
Yeah, he could have smiled more. I was being nice.
Yeah, thank you.
But it would have been in the past something that we may have tried to redo. Oh, and there was no reason to. If we do it again, the thing is, you can learn. I learn every time we do something. Every email that I write, everything that I post on Facebook, every one of these shows that I do. If I happen to watch it later, I'm like, oh, okay, I can sure do that better. Or not I'm bad, just like that would be more interesting. You could use more inflections in your voice. You could look at Tristan when he speaks. Don't blank out. Respond to him. Just little things. And then you implement them.
Absolutely. So when we first went online, one of the things that happened was we're in our little small town doing our thing, right? Having very big success in our small town, Austin, Texas.
Face to face.
Yeah, we had our own physical brick and mortar schools, dance schools, martial arts schools. Mm-hmm. And
private lessons. Mm-hmm.
Within the school, we had private lessons, we had workshops, we had ongoing classes. we had a lot of people, you would say for a local business, it was very thriving, successful schools. And we were known for being great teachers, right? We really loved the art that we were teaching. We still do. And then we started flirting with online, and we're bringing online up a lot in this show. Not that this show is strictly for online.
How did that look when we flirted with online? What was that like? Was it like...
We just batted our eyelashes. Batted our eyelashes at the online. Hey, sweetheart.
We looked at our computer
like, want to go on a date?
So we did. We went on a couple of dates. The first date sucked, man. I mean, it was crash and burn stuff. We were just like, I don't know. I don't think you're the one for me.
We were so
And
bad.
some of you have had that experience with the online world. You're like, I don't know. I didn't really get any likes. I didn't get any loves. I didn't get any sales, right? And that's okay. I mean, that's in the beginning. You work in the craft.
No
You're
one
learning.
does.
No one does. So
No one does.
we had our confidence, and you probably do, in our modality and in our local business, right? We were confident there. But as soon as we went online, this comparing type thinking comes in. Because now, from your little small town maybe, or maybe you're already rocking it big time entrepreneur in your local area, but now you are in your mind competing with the whole globe, right? All the other people that do anything like you, and I'm not saying you're a competitive person, but the mind starts to compare. Well, I'm not as good as Tony Robbins.
Yeah, I'm not Oprah.
I'm not Oprah. Like in self-aggrandizing anyone, but we get these loops in our head around it's not up to snuff because you're putting your apples, next to theirs,
and a huge team and a huge budget
and a huge overhead.
Yeah.
So the last part to that, and I'll pitch it back to you, is you have to be cool with who you are and what you've got to offer. Because that is uniquely perfect for the people that you're designed, and I'm going to go spiritual for a moment, that you're designed energetically, emotionally, spiritually to connect with. You're the perfect fit for them. And I love Tony Robbins, think he's awesome, but maybe they're not right fit for him and he's not right fit for them, but you are. So drop the comparing, and he probably can't afford to do a 60-minute session with them for the rate that you could charge. So that person wouldn't get to have that experience. Yeah. But with you, it will be perfect. So drop comparing, and maybe even, I've had to do this, go on a digital diet. And what I mean by that is don't unsubscribe from us. No, what I mean is stop looking at what everyone else is doing and comparing your thing and then looking and comparing and looking, because that'll feed that procrastination as well and the perfectionism as well. Like, well, it's not as good as them, and you'll keep changing your mind and tweaking. It's better just kind of put the blinders on and go, this is what I love. This is who I am. These are the people I feel called to serve, and focus on launching your thing, and then maybe look around a little bit and go, what are they doing? Oh, that's interesting. Maybe I'll model that technique.
Yeah, I mean, if you're working with a mentor, like we have a lot of students and we've got their back. So that's exactly, we're saying, you don't need to go look at every other life coach right now and see what they're doing if it's slowing you down and taking you off your path. Because what's great is that the whole world opened up because of what happened with the pandemic, and you're online, and Kmart's online, and Tony Robbins is like everybody is at the same mall, and the mall is the internet.
Right.
And isn't that amazing, right? There was an equalizing of the platform. But you have to be able to stand on your storefront selling what you have with great confidence, knowing that it might not be what's next door. Next door might be selling diamonds, and maybe your expertise is costume jewelry. Not that it's less than, it's different. You might sell ice cream, they might sell pies. Like, stop making it, what do they say, apples for apples comparison, because that's leaving out you being uniquely you. And we all know that the number one thing people are looking for when they want to work with you or buy your program is connection.
That's right.
They are buying you, they're buying your energy, they're buying the way you express it. So if you're copying other people and mimicking other people, you aren't there.
And you're not them. And you shouldn't be trying to do that anyway, because only they can do them. What's the saying? You do you, boo. So our years of working at this have taught us this. It's better to put something out into the marketplace, even if it's 85% ready. I believe that's what Microsoft does. And they allow their users to help them upgrade the next level.
Yeah.
And we're okay with that. We recently launched some invitations to some energy kits, which we've been refining over the years. And I don't think we really had any feedback on improving those. I think the majority of that feedback was, oh my gosh, this is unbelievable. And then we have an onboarding sequence for people who are joining our membership program, which, by the way, we have more members in that program than we've ever had before, because we've become consistent at releasing the programs, even if they're not perfect. And we even wrote in our title for today, the perfectly imperfect fast track to more sales. We have made more sales in the last several years because of exactly what we're talking about. Stop comparing, the procrastination from self-judgment and concern of what others think, and the perfectionistic approach is not realistic. Get it out there, let other people help you improve it. Done is better than perfect.
Yeah. And here is great news. This is probably the best news you've heard all year, is that everything has shifted from what the consumers want, from what your clients want. Because again, what's happened in the world, things did need to be slick and polished and maybe more big budget and lots of cuts as far as videos go. Or if somebody buys a program, they expected it to be like just pristine. But now with being able to live stream and be able to be more natural and reality TV, that's really what people are loving and what people are enjoying. And they don't really want to see somebody being all perfect. So that's why we often, most of the time, we sell our programs before they're created. So someone joins a monthly membership program and they pay, let's say at the first of the month, they don't get those classes until they've paid for them. Or we'll have an idea to make a program and we'll put it together and we will sell it and we deliver it live. So we sell something before it's made with this relaxation that, is it going to be perfect? It's going to be perfectly imperfect, and it is a fast track to more sales and more clients, and there's a relaxation about it. Now, even though we're relaxed, we're still smart, right? So if you're going to deliver your classes live, you're going to do what you can before you go live. You know how to engage with the people that are there. You know how to comment. You know a little bit about lighting, a little bit about sound. And then you know how to monetize it when it's over and how to turn it into evergreen. So yes, stay smart and know what to do, but then relax and flow inside of it. And you will be like somebody just said about us, like, you guys were just teaching your class, ad-libbing, and I couldn't look away because I wanted to see what was going to happen. And that's not when something's perfect. That's when I don't know what's going to happen because it's not perfect. It's real life.
Oh my gosh, this show, when we first started this show, we were trying to make it perfect. And not that we don't want to improve on our skill and our delivery and our broadcast, but today's show by no means was perfect. Done was good enough, right? We wanted to be consistent. Consistent is a quality word to fall in love with. Being consistent and improving each and every time. Kaizen, gradual, consistent improvement. And now live will scare a perfectionist. They'll be like, oh, no. Everything could go wrong. What if I hit the wrong button? What if I say the wrong thing? I cannot perfect this enough. And the reality is people don't want polished and perfect. That's a turnoff. What they want is raw and real and a little rugged sometimes, right? So
we have a friend, and in her blog, she calls people who are trying to be perfect Stepfordpreneurs.
Yes, everything is perfect. And today we'll be discussing the 3 most important things you can do to be imperfectly perfect so that you can make more money. Like nobody wants that. It's like the guitarist who can play all the scales so perfectly, but there's no soul behind their playing.
There's no musician there.
Yeah, the artist is gone. We have a really cool resource for you that will help you to feel confident and comfortable even in not being perfect when you go live. And that is a gift right there. If you've never seen this, you definitely want to jot that down. SatoriMethod.com go live.
So this is the checklist after going live hundreds of times that we put together for our students. And it is a checklist. What do you want to do before you go live that might not occur to you until you go live enough times that you made all those mistakes, and now you put them on a checklist.
Right.
And then what to do during, and then how to follow up afterward. It's really in depth, but it's not overwhelming. And it's something that for a while you might want to keep right next to the device that you go live on, just to kind of like review it. Like, oh, wait a minute, I didn't reboot my device. Oh yeah, the refrigerator's running. I'm sitting right next to it. Just a little thing. Oh, the window's behind me. Oh, I forgot to add the link to the post afterwards. Just lots of things. I think you're going to find it really, really beneficial, so that the part of you that wants to be perfect can relax, knowing nothing in that arena can go wrong. I just want to say one more thing. As I used to MC, and I still do, but I used to MC this charity event where there was 1,000 people live in the room that I didn't know, that were very high society at the time. And I used to get a little nervous because I felt like that thing, like, who am I? I bet they wish it was somebody else. And everything that I was thinking and my desire to be perfect was because I was assuming that they were showing up to judge me.
Right.
I was assuming that they were showing up to pick me apart. And I was assuming that they were there to point out everything that was wrong with me. And you know what I was doing? I was projecting myself into their head. The truth is, they couldn't care less about me. They were there to see somebody else in the show, but no one was showing up there to pick me apart. And if they were, they've got issues. That's not me. And so when I flip that in my head to just, no, they're showing up because they want to be here. If they didn't want to be here, they could go be somewhere else. If somebody doesn't want to show up to your live, they'll scroll on by. Right? And so it was all me. It was all me projecting onto those 1,000 poor people that they were what was going on in my head. And so when I changed what's going on in my head, I could walk out on that stage as though, oh, everybody's here because they want to be here. They're excited that I'm here. They're already my friends. They can't wait to spend this time together.
That little mindset shift changes your energy too.
Doesn't it?
And we're energy teachers, so this is really a huge point. I like to say we pull out of others what we project onto others. We pull out of them what we're projecting on, because that's the mirroring, right? So when Sabrina walks out thinking, oh, they're going to pick me apart, she's going to shut down internally, and energetically she's going to throw that out, little packets of photon information, and they're feeling that.
Yep, and like attracts like.
But if you're like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see my friends, even if you don't know them, you can play the game.
And they can't wait to see me.
And you're putting that out, you're going to get smiles from the audience, plus your reticular activating cortex is going to see the ones who are clapping for you and with you.
Yep.
Your whole reality changes. And when you're a content creator or you're a course creator or a teacher and you start doing that, you watch how your whole business changes. You start attracting the most amazing clients and customers. You start having so much fun showing up, and you feel really, really good, and you do make more money.
The perfectly imperfect fast track to more sales and more clients.
All right. Thank you so much. I always love doing this show with Sabrina because I never know what's going to come through, like the winking and the little things and
flirting.
And that's the beauty of the perfection of all this. And so thank you for being you and allowing us to share with our incredible community and tribe. You guys, we love you. We hope that this serves you deeply. Please just take action.
Yeah, if you're watching this on our blog, there's a big yellow button right below this video so you can grab a copy of the Go Live checklist. If you're watching on YouTube, you can hit subscribe, and that way it'll let you know when we go live on YouTube or when we load a new video. If you're watching on Facebook, if you like or follow the page, Facebook will say, hey, those guys, they're at it again.
There they go again. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a beautiful rest of your day. And on that note...
See you next time.